The third way to organizational flourishing at your church is through an area that I like to call the pursuit of clarity. Now, as a reminder, each of these ways is naming a part of your church where something is already happening, but it's also proposing something to happen in that area that will unlock the flourishing that your church is meant to experience and create for others. The pursuit of clarity, first of all, is about a mindset shift. It's about a mindset shift about challenges that arise in the life of your church. It could be on the team, with your members, with attendees, with things like your facilities, or very practical processes in the life of the church, or not having enough money, or whatever the case may be. Those situations and many others are actually situations where clarity is needed. And where that clarity is not showing up saying, clarity needed, please. It is a situation that's cleverly disguised as something uncomfortable. And so the mindset shift is, first of all, to realize that if you're a leader, it is your job to create clarity. That there are places in the life of your church now, and there will be new places in the future where something will need to become clearer. And if you are a leader, it is your job to lead or co-lead that process of creating the clarity, and keeping in mind that the situation will come cleverly disguised as something uncomfortable. But there's a whole other part of this pursuit of clarity that is, how do we actually create the clarity? And how do we act on it? And how do we communicate it? There are many people who were never taught how to create clarity as a team, whether that's your session or whether that's your staff. How do we create clarity together when it comes to making decisions together or solving problems together? How do we do that? How do we do that in a way that when we've reached an answer, a decision, that we know we're all on the same page? How do we actually over communicate that, which is a word I'd recommend to you, so that it's making its way out into the places where it can benefit the most? How are we keeping track of and honoring that clarity so that when we get 6 months into the future or a year into the future, we don't have this conversation all over again until somebody remembers, wait a minute, didn't we already make a decision about this? The practices of pursuing clarity as a central part of how your church's organization works in a healthy way. You can imagine how this would be part of unlocking the flourishing that your church is meant to create and experience. You could also imagine that if you are not yet in the habits of seeing as your job to pursue clarity, of recognizing the situations that are calling for clarity, and of knowing and practicing a way of creating clarity together and moving it forward, that might be a place in your church where a lot of issues go to get hung up, and where things get backlogged, and where you start to feel overwhelmed, and where things are not getting fixed, and when things are not getting clear. In fact, along the way, there are more and more parts of your church that are not clear. That can happen over time. I don't wish that for you. I don't think you wish that for yourself or for your church. So be heartened in the fact that this is not only possible, this is something any organization, any leader can help to lead, the pursuit of clarity in the life of your church. I highly recommend it to you. And I invite you to try it on for size. What might that look like for us to pursue clarity as one of the core ways that we are pursuing God's call to both create and enjoy flourishing?